So time for a little tour around the fish tanks. It's January the 2nd, we've got Christmas out of the way, work on Monday is looming down over us, and let's have a little update. That tank there, I will come back to. It's just a 1 metre tank. We're not on fire, that's just a fire. This was the first tank. Now these fish will still be a bit jittery because I was in there earlier on clearing it out. Got the big black male, but in there with him are a couple of Peruvian females which are in there for their own good. They come from the Rio Nene region. That's that one there. The tall, slender body ones with the silver and the black bar markings. Peruvian Outums is their street name. There'll be smart asses on educating me to say they're not true Outums. Indeed they are not. They're Pterophilium scalare. They are normal angels, but oh, it doesn't like him. Well, they're both females actually, but that's the normal angelfish shape. Fairly sort of elegant compared with other fish, but quite dumpy. Not very tall bottom and top fins, relatively thick bodies. He's got a few white markings on him there. That's because he's swum through some slime, which shows up quite badly. I expect he's quite unhappy about that. So there's a Peruvian Outum, or Peruvian Angel they call them. More slender body, tall top fins, long ventrals, long bottom fin. In there are some babies which have grown over the last few months. So that there, I've got a reflection of some lights there, but that's a smoky. It's just a plain blue. Up above are some blue marbles. So you're supposed to see some blue in those. I don't see it very strongly myself. But then the Peruvians patrolling there are quite aggressive, not tank bred. So the big black angel, quite powerful, but after many generations of tank breeding, they're more like the humans out of Planet of the Apes, whereas these are more like the humans from Planet of the Humans. Still got their dignity, bit of a green tinge on the top. When you look at them from above, they blend into the vegetation a lot better. But they've not been bred to bring out any colours, whereas these other ones have been bred over the last God knows how many years. They started breeding them in the early 1900s. Anyway, less of a lecture. In here got some loach, doing quite a successful job of keeping the snail population down. I didn't know that they'd be this lively. And they actually approach the other fish quite a lot, which I didn't think they would. So they're, on the one hand they're a bit of a pain in the arse, but on the other hand these angels are so slow moving and docile they tend to hang in the water, but these loaches keep them on the move, which makes the tank better to look at. Plants, there's a Java ferns, doing quite well. Amazon swords, pathetic. That's an expensive substrate, but it's not doing the job. I think I need carbon or iron, something like that. I'm just going to grow the plants that grow well. Some Vallisneria, it's just the grassy Sagittaria type stuff. They've dug up my air bubbler, so I'll put that back down under this rock, but they'll dig it back up again. What is more like a weed, this, I can't remember what it's called, kabomba or something, some common weed. It's growing very well. But all in all, that tank, it's a nice tank, 3.5 foot, but front to back it's only about a foot, 30 centimetres. It's very low volume. So that would be one on the to-go list, just use that for babies I think, or plants, except for Emerson sword. Now when these babies were younger, so there you can see the you can see the marble effect next to the stripy effect, which is more original. They used to, a few months ago, they used to look like this. So this is a glass bottom tank. I don't like this, but these small babies they're about an inch long front to back. About 7 weeks old, and they're just in there to grow on and then sell. What I'm feeding these on is mainly very finely crushed flake and brine shrimp eggs and live brine shrimp, which I'm growing here. So I've got my Coke bottles split up and turned upside down with an air lead running into each one. So I've put marine salt in there, bubbling it through the bottom. Within 24 hours I'll just take them back out again and siphon them off, put them through the sieve, feed them to the fish. The baby fish go mental, they love it. The one on the right is darker because it's got more eggs in it. Both of them are darker than what they'd normally be because I put some spirulina powder in, which is a green vegetable powder which the brine shrimp eat. So they won't die within 24 hours when they've used up their yolk sac. They'll still have nutritional value. It's the other tank. Now this tank is much deeper from front to back. There's a lot more volume in there. I've not got more fish in there because these two, again Peruvians, have laid. You can see the eggs there on that leaf, but they're quite defensive. They know what they're doing, and if I get in very close and the fish gets out of the way, oh come on, I've never eaten your eggs before. You should be able to see there's movement in those eggs, and that's because they've got their tails out. So the eggs have matured. Maybe a bit of a diversion. Oh, no, too clever for me. Excuse me? That works. Excuse me? I just don't understand. So the thing is, these eggs were laid a couple of days ago, and they get reached this stage of maturity where they've grown. The babies aren't ready to come out yet. The eggs are still attached to the leaf, but they're waggling their tails like mad, and they're getting ready to go free swimming. Now, those eggs weren't laid there, they were laid on a leaf back there, but what the parents do is move them around so that there's no fungus or infections get a chance to settle in if they were sat still too long. As you notice that they haven't got very good hands, they use their mouths to move the eggs. So they'll suck about 7 or 8 in at a time and then blow them back out. Now this pair well, that's quite a nice profile. Look at me, look at me. And because they're bigger and more tall and slender than normal angels, they'll tend to grow a bit quicker. These parents are only about 7 months old, but that there on the right, the male, he's about 5-6 inches top to bottom of the fins, and he's bigger than a lot of adult angels already. Those eggs will come out soon, and then all that brine shrimp that you see hatching out in the Coke bottles will be dedicated to those in here. Some more loaches just to clean up crew. But they're a bit more timid than the ones in the other tank. That'll probably change when they get bigger. But the babies that you see on the leaf, or the eggs that you see on the leaf, eventually, after 4 weeks, they look like this. So within a couple of days, they'll go free swimming, and you see a lot of white dots in the water. That's the baby brine shrimp that I put in. You might see some of them wriggling because they are actually baby brine shrimp that are swimming in the water, and the fish are eating them, which is why they're out. Otherwise they'd be hiding behind the weeds. But at 4 weeks old, you can see that they are angelfish shaped. They're about, the body size is maybe a 5p coin. Now, I did have about 100 of these, but when they were very, very young, the water quality suddenly went bad and I lost a few. In cleaning the tank out, I lost a few more, and the parents actually then laid a further batch of eggs and became defensive against their own babies. So I moved the parents out when they'd managed to eat half of the remaining babies. So I've got 9, but they're such a strong fish that of the 9 that I saved, I've still got 9 left, and they're just getting progressively bigger. So it's 11.5 minutes now. I think I've been rambling on enough. And that's my fishy fish room at the 2nd of January. Hallelujah.